That's classic. We bring you great laughs and a unique behind-the-scenes look at classic television shows and movies. I'm John Cato. I'm an actor, voiceover artist, and also bring you an amazing insight as a moderator with over 20 years experience in the television industry. All right, and welcome back. Today is just a real fun one. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that will enjoy this. First of all, our show, I'm going to just say it. It's going to be on Star Trek. And I'm here with my close friend. And if anyone's been listening to this podcast, you know him. It's Bob Bergen, animation extraordinaire, voice of Porky Pig, etc., etc., etc. So, Bob, welcome.
Etc. How are you?
I'm doing good. This should be a fun one, getting a chance to talk about Star Trek. I mean, you know, a lot of Trekkies out there, but there's also...
Did you watch it in the original run or did you get into it in syndication?
You know, I got into it in syndication. My brother-in-law, which I could dedicate this podcast to my brother-in-law, actually. He was out, he was a big Star Trek guy on the original, and he introduced it to me, really.
Really? So you were really late in the game.
Yeah, I was late in the game. I mean, I might have seen it a bit, but he really got me going on it. We actually went to a Star Trek convention together in the 70s with in Milwaukee, by the way, with Sulu and Chekov.
That's fun.
Both there. I remember to this day waiting in line, and they had a shot of the bridge. They were selling them, and I bought one, and we waited in line, and then there was George Takei and Walter Koenig. And they signed it right on the spot where each of their, pictures were on the bridge with the full crew. And I still have that. Actually, it's still at my mother's house in plastic.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
well, I rode in a I forget what the town was. I think it was like San Pedro or something. Yeah. A parade, a celebrity parade. And it and I, like the Hollywood Christmas parade, but in San Pedro. And in the car was me and Walter Koenig and Barry Pearl. And do you know Barry? Barry was in Greece.
Oh,
He's been a buddy of mine for years.
Yeah, sure.
And Walter, who is one of the nicest guys on the planet, but he ain't Russian. I mean, he's just he doesn't sound a thing like Chekov.
Right.
Oh, he was just going off on Bill Shatner, and oh my God! And I'm not gossiping out of turn here, because everybody knows that many of the cast members had issues.
Oh, definitely.
But but I have a fun picture of all of us together in the car, and Walter's like, going off on. I said, dude, first of all, did you ever think that this thing was going to be what it is? They brought him on later in the series.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
Do you know why they brought him on?
No, I don't actually.
Because Davy Jones was so big on the monkeys, they needed somebody cute for the girls.
That's right, because he had the haircut like Davy.
And he had the little bob haircut, and they made him Russian because they thought, well, you know what, the Cold War is going on. Let's say we're friends with Russia now. Oh. And they basically brought him on to be cute.
Oh, that's funny. That's right. I do remember because of the hair. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long, but he taught for years. He taught an acting class in Hollywood.
Did he?
Yeah. And, now granted, no offense to Walter Koenig, I have no idea how good he was as an acting teacher, but a couple of the people that I knew that were in his class, they just worshiped him. They thought he was just terrific. So,
well, I've met him over the years at different fan conventions. We flew, I think, to Ontario or somewhere in Canada, and sat next to each other on a plane, and he didn't remember the parade, but he was very, very sweet, very I think I'm going to say probably even a frustrated actor who didn't get to do more.
I would agree 100% with you. I heard that too.
But let's be honest, if you're doing a franchise like that where you go from series, and I don't know if you're aware, but Star Trek: The Motion Picture was supposed to be a series.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were going to do a Paramount. They were going to do a Paramount network. Oh, and they wrote a series that they took bits and pieces of the pilot and made it Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding. I can still picture that movie poster with all the rainbow lines shooting
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't know that. So that was supposed to be a television series, not just a movie.
It was originally supposed to be a TV series, and it became a movie. And it was really well received, and it
Oh,
did
I
really
loved it.
well.
Loved it.
And I loved it too, but it didn't have the same feel as the original series. And Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, kind of did, because it had a little bit more of the humor, and
It did.
it was more down to earth. But the original series, I did watch when it was first on, not religiously, but I remember. I think the time slot bounced around, but I just seem to remember it was on Monday nights on
Wow.
NBC at 8 o'clock, and Lucy was on CBS at 9. And I would have to sit through, my dad would watch Star Trek,
Yeah.
and I would sit through Star Trek to get to wait for Lucy. And for some reason, he didn't like Gunsmoke, which was on before Lucy. So
Yeah, I like Gunsmoke. Yeah.
I loved Gunsmoke. But I love, again, we're talking at the time, it wasn't classic TV, but it's classic TV today.
You know
But
what?
I did watch the first run of Star Trek.
Okay, that's actually pretty impressive. I know for sure. Yeah, I watched it later. By the way, really bizarre tie-in there about the Lucy thing. You got to be a pretty big Trekkie to get in there and know about Lucy's tie into Star Trek. But the truth of the matter is Star Trek would not be around if it wasn't for Lucille Ball. I mean, most people.
Yeah, she was Desi Lu produced it.
Yeah, they produced it, and she was. I mean, when I say a cheerleader, the everything for the show, she was it. I mean, the initial pilot, which is I want to say is called The Cage. It's the one with Pike,
Right.
Captain Pike or whatever. It was a very expensive pilot for the time, extremely, and they were going to shelve it. And she overrode the board at Desilu and said, "No, we're doing it, and we're going to do it." So she does it. NBC picks it up. NBC comes back and says, "No, it's good, but we want another pilot." And the Desilu board votes and says, "We're not doing another pilot." Once again, she overrides it again. And this is the one with Shatner, by the way, the
Right.
second version. She overrides it again, and hence we now have Star Trek. Otherwise, it
And
never would have gone forward.
they used a bit of The Cage in an episode called The Menagerie.
Yeah, I know it.
And it was Lucille Ball. They were also producing Mannix. They did a lot of dramas.
Oh yeah,
And again, if you, like you said, if it hadn't been for that kooky redhead,
yeah.
this franchise wouldn't exist.
No, so she was so smart. By the way, from a comedy standpoint or whatever, one thing that I find funny, when you said they reused that Star Trek, in all the years I've been reading about it, where one of the things I found was so funny is they would go back and they would reuse scenes from other episodes, and they would just put a new backdrop behind it.
No kidding.
Yeah, I saw one where Shatner actually has the Star Trek badge on the opposite side of his shirt because they reversed the footage.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Okay, yeah. And another one,
because no one will ever notice this.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
their budget, it was so they just kept cutting and cutting and cutting. And the other one was they would shoot Sulu and Chekov just doing reactions,
Mhm.
and then they would just cut them into different episodes.
Just recycle them.
Yeah, they just recycled them. I mean, come on, that's classic.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Anyhow, I just thought that was so funny that they would do that. That they would actually take the time. Yeah, you're right about Shatner and Nimoy. I've heard they were close, and then they weren't so much. There was always a lot of
I heard towards the end of Nimoy's life they had a falling out. I don't know the details behind it, but yeah, it seems to me that Shatner had a whole bunch of issues with a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot. I've heard a lot of the different cast members say that, yeah, things were a little bit tense,
Now, contrary to what we talked about on your previous episode about Genie.
Yes, that was I Dream of Genie, folks.
The Star Trek cartoon was good.
It still is good. I've gone back and watched it. They have it on CBS All Access has it.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's written by many of the people that wrote the original.
Yeah, and it's the original cast.
It is the original cast, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard a rumor that Leonard Nimoy was very, very busy and didn't have time to go to recording sessions. So if you listen to a whole bunch of episodes, he's slightly echoed because his part was recorded in the men's room at LAX.
Oh my God, that's very.
I don't know if that's really true, but I think that that's something that your fans should. Oh yeah, that is true, and it was at the United Terminal. I don't know. I don't know what part of that is true or not, but I did hear that.
Okay, that would be really funny. It's like Captain, grab your phaser, flush.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. One of the another little tidbit here that I would imagine most fans don't know, but Leonard Nimoy's dad was a barber. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Oh, okay.
He was a barber in Boston, and I always thought this was so funny. I don't know why, it just got me. But after the show aired, for years, people would walk into his barbershop and go, "I'd like the Spock haircut."
Oh, that's kind of sad.
I mean,
because it's not the most attractive look.
It's not, but yeah, that was and he would give him the Spock haircut, which
it's a good thing he wasn't Telly Savalas's father.
Exactly.
Get a whole bunch of bald people walking around.
But it had them all, yeah. But he could have gave them all suckers. That's a good. Yeah.
That's big. Do you know where the Vulcan
live long and prosper?
Yeah, the hand thing came from?
No, I'd like to hear about that.
In a synagogue, in an Orthodox synagogue,
what?
When a rabbi is blessing the congregation when their heads are bowed, he does this.
No way.
And your listeners can't see me, but I can do it on both hands.
No.
And that Leonard Nimoy, who was Jewish, said, "How about the Jew thing?" Yeah. Oh, there you go. Can you do this?
I can do it.
Can you do that to this?
We're doing
back and forth, and there you go. Oh, that's good.
That's close. No way. That's where it originates from.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny. So wait, let's say that one more time. So what is the Jewish translation of that?
It's just the rabbi who's blessing the congregants in synagogue.
Okay, so live long and prosper. Yeah, I got you.
Live long and prosper and be annoying and please your mother and go to college and complain about
a little bit more.
Stuff.
The rabbi adds a little bit more.
That's right.
But hey, what the heck?
There you go.
So this is totally off, but I was just thinking about it when you were doing that. One of the things that I think that a lot of people would be surprised about is think of a typical Star Trek episode. They'd have these little explosions that would go off, like behind a rock,
right?
Or something, or the phaser, creates an explosion.
Right.
Apparently, it was no joke. Apparently, Shatner had serious, and he still does, obviously, serious hearing damage.
Yeah, I heard that.
DeForest Kelley, who played McCoy, and Nimoy.
Did they all get like a tinnitus or something, like ringing in the ear? Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah. And Leonard Nimoy said that he had it for like 20, 25 years. He had a constant like little ringing in his ear, So I thought
I don't know if Leonard Nimoy got fed up playing Spock. I mean, didn't he either write a book or have a song or something? I'm Not Spock or something.
Oh, the book's excellent. It's I Am Not Spock. I love it. It's a great book.
Now that's an old one, right? Because I think he ended up writing a nicer one, or perhaps Spock. Yeah, I don't know. But he in Wrath of Khan, I don't know if this is true or not. He agreed to do it only if they killed him off.
Oh wow!
And then he agreed to do 3. They said, but we want to bring you back, and he said, only if you let me direct it.
Yeah, that's right. Which, by the way, that's one of my very favorite Star Trek movies. That's the one with the whales. I love that.
No, that's 5.
No. 5 is no. 3 is the one with the whales, because 5 is the one that
Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock, Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home.
Oh, you might have got
Star Trek 5: The let's find Jesus or something like that.
Well, the one that Shatner did, I mean, no offense. I mean, I think he's great as Kirk, but the one he directed is.
That's the one I'm talking about. It was crap.
Oh, God, that was rough. And that was part of that deal with Nimoy directing, is they said, well, that's fine. But Shatner's people came in and said, then he gets the chance to direct the other one, which was awful.
But the script was so bad. It was just such a terror. And then I did like the one where they had the Shatner, the Picard Shatner part. Remember?
Yes.
It was like a next generation, old generation. Let's get together in a generation. And they're on a farm and making eggs. I thought that was great. I love that.
That was a great one. No, I loved it when you brought up Picard in. That was actually, they worked really well off each other. I like that one.
That was really, really, and Shatner dies in that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
which is like the passing of the baton. Yeah,
that's right.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I wish I could remember the name of that because my brain is going.
Was that just called Generations?
I was just gonna say to you, was it called Generations? Because I was like Star Trek: The Next Generation, but the movie is actually called Generations. Yeah,
I think it's called Generations because both generations were in it.
Right.
And then there was one I think called First Contact. I think
that's a good one too.
Yeah,
that's another good one. Yeah, I've rewatched those a couple of times. I really like those.
Well, you and I have talked about how much we love Picard.
Oh, such a good show.
So good.
Oh, so good. He's fantastic. My God. And it's just quality TV. Of course, we're talking about Picard, not just the actual name of the show is Picard on CBS.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrific. Yeah. By the way, going off on another one that was funny. Now we've kind of talked about Shatner and Nimoy and issues and all that. There was another side too. There was actually a lot of pranks that were done in the show. Like constantly, these people were pranking each other. One of my very favorite ones. I don't know if you ever saw. I think it's called the Corbinite maneuver. I think that's how it's pronounced. Corbinite maneuver. It might be. You might remember this one. It was Clint Howard as he's 7 years old for real.
Oh my God!
And he plays Balak.
I love that one.
Yeah. Well, that particular one, which in itself, just the fact that it's Clint Howard, Ronnie Howard's brother, playing
with that creepy dubbed voice.
Exactly. It's so creepy. It's really weird. And but that if you can picture that head of Clint Howard or whatever.
Yeah.
The Bob Justman, who is one of the producers on the show, he finally takes a vacation with his wife. And they're going to Hawaii, right? They get on the airplane, and as they go to sit down, the seat between them, they had Balak's head sitting. I thought that was the best.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. That was the head that they saw on the screen.
That's correct.
It wasn't really, and then they land on the planet, and it's the kid from Gentle Ben.
Exactly, which really throws him off. Yeah,
it threw me off too. It was a little creepy.
It is a creepy one. I had read, and I vaguely remember him having to drink something in the episode, but I guess they gave him grapefruit juice, and Clint Howard, he's 7 years old. He's like, oh, this is terrible. I cannot drink this. And I guess his dad, Rance, Ronnie's dad, obviously too. I guess his dad goes, no, you're going to drink it. It's what we signed up for, and you're going to do it.
That's a good dad with a little actor kid, because today, a Kardashian would be like, okay, I can't drink the grapefruit juice.
I just can't do it. Yeah.
I need cranberry, but the 5-calorie kind.
right. Yeah.
No, I heard Rance was a good dad. Well, we talked about that on the Andy Griffith.
The Andy Griffith.
You talked about that because he was just like, Ron, you're an actor. You're going to do it right.
Yeah.
You're going to be polite.
If you don't want to do this, we don't have to do this. Yeah.
That's right.
Pretty insane.
I remember that scene. It was at the very end where he's giving them cocktails, and he goes, "This is Tranya. I hope you relish it as much as I." And they're looking at each other like, we're not touching this shit. And he goes, "Gentlemen," and he takes a big sip. So yep.
And by the way, I love what you just did because it's so true. He does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think much alike, you and I, Captain.
God.
and they're walking around holding this little boy's hand, and he's talking like he's some creepy old man.
It's so creepy. Oh my God. Anyway, I always loved that story. I thought that was a great one. I think another favorite character for me was Harvey Mudd. I don't even remember Harvey
So
Mudd.
you watched Discovery?
Oh yeah.
With a contemporary version of Harvey Mudd?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good. But okay, so many of our stories go back to old stories. So my grandmother bought me the plastic genie bottle. Remember I told you that story?
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, about the same time, she came for a visit, and she, grandma always had fun things in her suitcase, and she pulls out this fuzzball, and she goes, "I bet you don't know what this is." I said, "That's a Tribble." And my grandmother goes, "How the hell do you know that?"
Oh,
I said, "Where did you get a Tribble?" She goes, "There was some TV show, something that was touring at the mall, and they were selling all these little things, and I thought it was cute."
No,
it was not a real Tribble. It was probably just like a little toy thing they were selling in conjunction with the series. And I did not keep my Tribble. I wish I had kept my Tribble. But my grandmother was so mad I knew what a Tribble was. And I said, "It's from Star Trek." She goes, "Well, who watches that?"
My God. How
everyone watches
funny.
That. She goes, "Well, I've never heard of that."
Yeah, the episode's actually, I think, called The Trouble with the Tribbles.
Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
And oh God, David, what's David's rest? Giraldi. He also wrote more Trouble with Tribbles for the cartoon.
Oh, wow.
He also wrote most of the episodes of Land of the Lost. He's a brilliant science fiction writer.
Oh my gosh. Another show I loved, by the way. Yeah.
We'll talk about Lee Stacks and Grumpy the dinosaur and all that stuff later.
Yeah. We got to do that. We're going to have to do that on an episode.
I had dinner with David, I think in Florida at a fan convention, and he is just the nicest guy on the planet who is just, he goes to these conventions and he signs, Trouble with Tribbles, blah, 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 blah. But the bottom line is he's just a genius of a writer and a very funny guy.
Wow. And isn't that funny? Like, here is this ultra talented guy and everybody's like, yeah, well, Trouble with the Tribbles.
And by the way, the guy you just mentioned, who was with the head on the plane.
Yes. Bob Justman.
I think he just died.
Oh, seriously?
I think he was the executive in charge at Desilu.
No, I think he was. There were two guys that I can't think of who the other one was, but I think one was Bob Justman. But I know he was an associate producer on Star Trek. I know that.
But I think he was responsible with Lucy for keeping it going. And he also did Mannix and all the dramatic shows that they did.
Big. No, he's very big. Yeah, he did a ton of stuff. Yeah.
But I think he's the one who just passed away.
Oh, interesting.
I think what happened was when Lucy purchased Desilu from Desi Arnaz, she made him in charge of production. Wow. I think.
Well, what's really ironic about this whole thing is Paramount buys Desilu, and I know I know that Lucy did not really want to sell, and she didn't want Star Trek to be part of the sale, by the way. That's how much she believed in the show.
Is that right?
Yeah. But financially, I don't know exactly what was going on, but she had to sell it in order to kind of keep everything afloat. And my guess is when Paramount bought that, they weren't thinking, "Oh my God, we just bought, Alaska, or whatever." It was just part of the deal. Didn't even think about it. And that was probably one of the greatest purchases in, television history, really.
Well, and also a property that they kept trying to get off the ground. And then, what was Star Trek, the motion picture, 79?
Yep.
That was over 10 years after the show went off the air.
Yeah.
And, if you think about it, that's not that long ago, relatively speaking.
No.
But from that point on, what's that?
I said, at least not to us.
It's right. But from that point on, it was nonstop.
Literally nonstop. Yeah.
It was nonstop. I mean, right now with Picard and Discovery, and I've only seen season 1 of Discovery, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, I've seen every episode actually up to whatever it is, season.
Yeah,
3, episode 10. I love it. I love the show.
I haven't because I guess the first episode debuted on CBS proper.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I'm like, I'm in love with this. I'm loving this show. And we were on vacation in London, and Netflix had Discovery.
Oh yeah, that's right. They show it on Netflix there. That's right.
Well, I didn't realize they didn't show it here.
Right.
So I decided to download a couple of the episodes to watch on the plane.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to watch them all. I wanted to, just like relish them a little bit.
Oh,
And I got home and I go to Netflix. I'm like, well, where's the damn show? No, Netflix in the US doesn't have it. And I don't have CBS All Access.
oh, is that painful? That's
so during Emmy season, because I am a member of the Television Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Bergen, member of the Television Academy. Go ahead, Bob.
You almost called me Burger there for a second, but that's okay. That's all right. So during Emmy season, when they give us free access to all this stuff,
yeah,
I'm catching up on stuff. That's what I do.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I think I binged Picard in less than 2 days.
Oh yeah. No, I think I did too, by the way. Yeah.
And I just finished watching the first season of Discovery on CBS because they were airing it during COVID.
That's right. They did.
They probably edited a lot of stuff out because I heard it was very adult and they swore and there was all kinds of sex scenes, but I didn't see any of that.
There's not a lot of sex scenes, honestly. It's minor in that, but there is more profanity in the show, without a doubt. So it
was good. I enjoyed it. It was a nice flavor. It was a nice, because it takes place before the first series, doesn't it?
I believe so.
It does, because it isn't Pike in it?
Pike is in it. Yes, you're right. Yeah. They do a really good job with Pike, actually.
Well, the thing is, that's a more advanced ship than the Enterprise.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well,
what's the deal with that?
What?
I don't get. What's the deal with that? You got the Enterprise.
I know. I don't know.
10 years earlier, here's this ship. It's better than the Enterprise.
Right. What are they thinking?
What were they thinking?
I got to tell you, you mentioned, or we were talking about Harvey Mudd. The actor that played him, wait a minute, I'll get it here. Roger C. Carmel, I think it is. I was going to say Caramel.
You get points for that.
Yeah. I just remember that name because I always get mixed up with Caramel and Carmel. But anyway, hey, that's a personal thing, okay?
That's right.
But what I was going to say, though, is I thought this was really a funny moment, especially for an actor. So he was quite popular. He still is, obviously, in the series. And they had asked him to come back to do one, and he was already had signed up for this other show. So he sees Gene Roddenberry like months later, and Gene Roddenberry's like, "Hey, really sorry about the show not going." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't do that episode." He goes, "Oh no, I'm talking about the pilot." He goes, "What?" They were going to do a pilot.
They were going to spin off the character?
Yeah, it was going to be and Harvey Mudd, the character, was going to be a space pirate. And the network turned it down. So he never knew anything about it.
Oh my.
And then he runs into Roddenberry, and Roddenberry's like thinking he knows, and he never knew. Yeah.
Oh.
So they never actually made the spinoff.
They never shot the pilot.
No. And the actor didn't even know. He had pitched it to the network, and the network decided that it wasn't going to work. They weren't going to go with it.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Okay, easy. I understand that Roddenberry was not a very popular guy amongst a lot of the cast. They found him to be just
Joe Barrett, but otherwise no one else.
That's right. Well, evidently there was a lot of cheating involved in that. She talked about that quite a bit, that he cheated on her quite a bit.
Well, he was married. I know that Gene Roddenberry was married when he met her. When he met.
Did you ever see the original pilot, the Cage?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because a lot of it is, if they put it back together, but the stuff that they didn't have is in black and white. And they edited the whole thing together, and she plays number one.
Oh, that's right.
And they called her number one, but they didn't use that title number one again until Next Generation.
Oh wow, that's wild. I never thought of that time.
What is your favorite episode from the original series?
Honestly, I'd have to go to just because I always loved the Trouble with the Tribbles. I mean, when I was at that convention I told you about with George Takei and that, it was so early on that they had barely any Star Trek paraphernalia, and they had Tribbles because obviously you can just have them.
Sure.
And I never got one. Whatever, I got the photo and I got that, and I always wanted one. So I don't know, probably that. I don't know if it's necessarily the most entertaining of them, but I can still picture, I think it's Shatner opens up like this panel and they all
Oh
fall.
yeah, yeah. And
And
there's like it's like a storage unit, and I guess they multiply when they eat, and they were in the food storage,
yeah,
and just
exactly.
billions of them come down.
Yeah. I always love that episode. I don't know. It's like that's one that if it's on, I just stop and I sit there and I watch it. Now, I have many other episodes that are in there, but that one definitely stands out. What about for you?
That's a big one, but my all-time favorite is the one where McCoy is kind of psychotic and runs through this little time warp thing and
I
ends up in like 1930s or 1940s
Yes.
America with Joan Collins.
Wasn't it also like Al Capone-ish kind of things going
No,
on?
that's another one.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, I'm
That
mixing
wasn't
those
that
two
was
up.
an, that was there was another one that was kind of gangsterish.
Yeah.
But this is one where they I don't know, they get a newspaper that she dies, and they have to make sure that she really does die, because if McCoy
Yes.
prevents her death, then it could change the course of history.
Yes, that's a good one. I do
That's a
remember that
that's a
now.
that's a great one.
Oh my God, that's a terrific one. Hey, by the way, I got to make sure I mention this because I know you're like a fan of like obviously animation, all the shows, but Sherry Lewis, Lamb Chop.
Lamb chop, yeah.
Yeah. This is a bizarre little tidbit that I learned. I thought this was wild. There was one called The Lights of, hope I'm doing this justice, The Lights of Zatar. She wrote it.
She wrote the episode.
She wrote the episode. Yeah. Now the irony is there's a character in there that when she wrote it, she envisioned herself playing, and they didn't cast her in it. But they did actually take the episode in, and they made it.
So who's the executive sitting around going, we got to get some writers for this science fiction show? The chick with her hand up the sock puppet's ass on Ed Sullivan last week. I bet she can write science fiction.
I know.
You know what's interesting is I'm not close friends, but I'm kind of pals with her daughter Mallory, who now does Lamb Chop.
Oh wow.
I want to ask her about that. How the hell did your mom write Star Trek? Did she do anything else?
Not that, not with Star Trek. I know she was a huge fan, by the way, huge fan of the show.
That is so funny.
Isn't that a wild tie-in? I know that was one of the most bizarre things that I ever saw. I was like, Sherry Lewis Lamb Chop. That's a wild one. I think the other wild one is I don't know if you remember the episode Plato's Stepchildren.
Yeah, with Michael Forrest.
Yeah, I believe that's it. And Nimoy is God, I can't remember what he plays, but he sings.
Yes,
he sings this song.
He's got like this harp thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I pictured like a violin, but you're right. It's like a harp thing, and it's called the song. I think once again I might be doing this injustice, but I think it's called "Bitter Dregs" is what they ended up naming it. He wrote the song.
He wrote the song?
Yeah, he actually wrote the song that he sings, and then he put it out professionally on an album after that. I mean,
how'd that work for him?
Well, I'm sure a few Trekkies bought that. Yeah.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Isn't that a wild one, though?
Years ago, I was at Brent's Deli in Northridge.
Yeah.
And sitting next to me, behind me, is Leonard Nimoy and his family having matzo ball soup. Oh. And I wanted so badly just to go up to him and say, I'm just a big fan of your work and be that guy. But I didn't, because I just didn't want, he's having dinner with his family and I didn't want to bug him. And then he passed away not that long afterwards. I thought, I should have said something.
Oh yeah, definitely. That I know. It's always those opportunities that you look back at and you go, seriously, what was I thinking? What an opportunity.
Well, what I really wanted to say is, isn't this interesting? The guy that plays Mr. Spock, who created the Vulcan Live Long and Prosper based on Jews, is eating Jewish deli.
Right, exactly.
I just thought it was like going full circle.
And then he looks at you and he goes, I'm sorry, what do you mean Live Long and Prosper was based on a Jew?
Right, exactly, yes.
That would have been really funny.
And I would have said, we have so much in common. I'm Porky Pig.
Oh, that's actually really funny. His son, by the way, put out that documentary about, 2 years ago?
It's great.
It's terrific.
It is so freaking good. That's on, I think, Netflix right now.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. I want to say that is I Am Spock. Maybe the title.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, it is really. It's a love story. It's just a really, and he talks about all of the his dad's history of wanting to get away from the character, then embracing the character.
Right.
But in Leonard Nimoy, right after Star Trek, he did Mission Impossible,
Oh, I
and
know.
also Desilu, but a totally separate character, totally different character.
Right. By the way, that's a show we should do too. Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
That would be an interesting one.
So again, we're talking shows don't have theme songs anymore.
Right.
You know the Star Trek theme song?
Oh yeah.
Riley, do you know the lyrics to the Star Trek theme song?
No, I don't.
Okay, I can't.
I always think we're No Man's Gone before. That's all my.
I can't quote them, but it doesn't rhyme. It's stupid.
Right.
It's I know his journey.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Won't end or goes on forever. It's so lame, and I don't even know why it even exists.
Right. It is.
Most of these shows had lyrics, but they just like I think Bewitched has the lyrics.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, but they just never. In fact, I think Bobby Darin might have recorded this. Bewitched, she's got me in her spell. So Star Trek has them too, but who cares?
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Leonard Nimoy made a little bit, but William Shatner, he recorded a few albums.
Oh my God. Was it Rocket Man?
Yeah, Rocket Man.
I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Oh, I think he honestly got in his heart, thought it was just beautiful art.
Oh, I think it was too. I think it was too. What's funny is his acting went so well with the Kirk character, but it is funny how he's like, Spock, I can't do it. Like it's so staccato at times.
He had this way of talking that he paused in the middle of sentences for no reason, Spock. And I don't think at that time he put it on. I think today he puts it on. I think today he's like, I can play that character.
Right, it works. I don't think he was either. I totally agree with you. I do. Well, you know what? We probably should wrap it up. Yeah.
It's always fun with you, Cato.
Yeah, it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. And we will definitely have to look into maybe Mission Impossible
or Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. I mean, we got a lot we gotta go through. But luckily we have other podcasts to do.
Did I tell the story on your show where I snuck onto this Next Generation set and sat in Picard's chair and laid down in
okay, let's tell us that story real quick before we go off. How do we let that go?
All right. So I'm working on a film at Paramount. I think it was called Flight of the Intruder. And I'm doing the voice of all the American pilots as they're going by. And during lunch, I wander into the soundstage and it's the Next Generation set.
Oh wow!
And it's completely empty, and I sit in Picard's chair, and I go to sick bay, and I lay down, and I stand in the transporter room, and I just stand there, and I say, guys, and I'm laying in sick bay, and this security guard comes up and he goes, "You're not supposed to be in here." And I said, "I'm so sorry, I got lost. There's stars out there in the window. How the hell do I get out of this soundstage?"
Oh my God!
I'm looking for the recording stage. I'm doing voiceover work on a movie. And he goes, "Well, you're not supposed to be here." I said, "Well, where were you?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, weren't you supposed to be here?" And he goes, "Okay, don't tell my boss I wasn't there." So I won't tell if you won't tell. And he let me go.
Oh my God. How cool is that sitting in the chair?
I was extremely impressed with the set for the bridge because the railings, so you got the Picard's chair here and there were railings behind him.
Yeah.
Were solid wood.
Oh, wow.
And shellacked like a ship.
Wow.
But it was like a boat ship. But I was just very impressed at how sturdy the craftsmanship was because sets are usually like cardboard and
right
crapola.
Was the chair comfortable?
The chair was quite comfortable, and it was actually kind of large.
Oh wow!
It was very comfortable. Kind of it swiveled a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
But there was nothing in the viewfinder. It was just like it was just an empty circle, and you could see to the other side of the soundstage.
Oh wow, that's so crazy.
And the conference room,
in
the conference room where you'd see stars going by, that was actually a black piece of felt with little pinholes, and they would shine lights, and they would move the black felt to look like the ship was moving with the lights going by. Now, I think that was early on because later on they would use like blue screen.
Oh, is that wild?
But that was pretty cool. That was really, really cool.
Oh, that is cool. Oh, wow. That's kind of a cool little
All right, John, I gotta go.
I gotta go, baby. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Bob, I had a ball. I will talk to you soon, and we will do many more.
Wait till you get all the letters where people correct us on everything we've said.
Exactly. You know it's coming. All right. See you. Bye. Hey, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button in the corner of the video so that you don't miss any of our future YouTube podcasts. Also, follow us on iTunes and Spotify and leave us a review.